you'll survive. Poisoned Productions.
I fully predict my boyfriend coming home at some point in the middle of this video and making a lot of noise because I meant to film this earlier. How is everybody doing? Okay, so number 1 on the list is actually a series. Now, chances are you have seen this movie. If you haven't, you've probably been living under a rock. It is Ghostbusters 1 and 2, so like the OGs. Not the new one that came out with all the girls, although I did appreciate that. The old one with like Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver, Queen. Yeah, it's both of them. 1 and 2 are both really good, and obviously I don't need to overly explain the plot. It's a bunch of people who end up getting together, creating a team, fighting ghosts. I'm not going to be giving too much away about any of these movies in case you do want to see them. I'm just giving you a general overview and then telling you should go and watch them. I love Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I put this on here to make sure other people watch it, but I've seen both of them pretty religiously because they're some of my favorite movies. So Ghostbusters 1 and 2, definitely go check those out. The second on my list here is Casper, the friendly ghost with like the real people. I really enjoyed this one. I love that it's in this like old house and there's all these like gears and gadgets going on. I don't know, I just watched it a lot as a kid, and so when I rewatch it, it like brings back old memories, do you know what I mean? So you know what I mean though. But yeah, Casper is a good rewatch, and the animation is in it actually isn't that bad. Like the ghosts aren't that bad. I like watched it recently, and yeah, I still think it's pretty good. Some movies, you know, when they get older, they get a little bit hard to watch if like the CGI is just shit. Absolute shit. But I didn't find that with Casper, so good job. Number 3 on this list is Elvira. There's actually a lot of movies with Elvira in it. She's like this vampire. They are very comedic though, like not scary at all. But I have seen one of them. I might have illegally watched it on YouTube at some point in my life. Cannot confirm or deny those facts. But yeah, I watched one of them and they actually are pretty funny. They're just like silly movies, and I definitely want to watch another one. I think there's 2 Elvira movies, maybe 3, I'm not sure. I'm not a die-hard fan. I know there are people out there who are, so do not crucify me if Elvira is like your shit. But I know a lot of younger viewers just A, will not have seen it, or B, have no idea what I'm talking about, so I thought I would throw that in there as some edumacation. It is worth watching. Number 4 on this is Goosebumps. And not the movie, although again, I did appreciate the movie with Jack Black. I'm actually talking the TV series. It's like, you can definitely tell it's from a kid's perspective, but it is kind of nice, like a little throwback, because again, I did watch that series as a kid and I did enjoy it then. And so I have watched a few episodes now, and definitely still worth a watch. Especially if you're kind of doing something and you want something on in the background but still like Halloween themed. Definitely a good go-to. Number 5 is the Wolfman. Now this one I haven't seen recently, so I can't actually give you a whole bunch of details on it. I was just scrolling through it and I'm like, I've seen that movie before. I'd like to see it again. It was actually okay. The Wolfman, not shocking what it's about. A werewolf. Oh, what? Shocking! Couldn't guess. I know, it's fucking unreal. I know. But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. It's a good take on a werewolf film, I guess. And yeah, I think you should watch it because werewolves are some of my favorite creatures of Halloween. So definitely into that whole theme they got going on. Number 6 is more of a thriller, like thriller suspense kind of horror, and it's Pay the Ghost with Nicolas Cage, actually. I know, reserved judgment. I had judgment for a minute. I was like, let's see what this bullshit is. I can't imagine that it's going to be scary. And it wasn't scary, but it was really suspenseful, and I actually really liked it. I throw it on a lot because it's not too scary, but it's got like a real creepy vibe through like the whole movie. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I definitely think you should check that movie out if you haven't already. It is definitely worth a watch. It's not like if you want to get scared not the movie. But if you're looking for like a suspense mystery, Halloween themed, it does happen on Halloween, so you know what I mean. 7 is the Halloween Tree. So this was like a cartoon TV show, and it like a TV movie, I guess, because it was only like, it wasn't like an episode thing, it was just like one. And what happens is there's these 4 kids, and one of their friends gets sick, and he can't come out on Halloween and go trick-or-treating with them because he's so sick. And then they like go to this guy's backyard with all these pumpkins and this crazy Halloween tree, and they meet like the Reaper, kind of, I think is how it goes. And anyways, they have to go through all these different challenges, and it's actually to save their friend because they find out that he's dying. And it is a cartoon, so if you're not into cartoons, maybe not this one. But, or maybe he was just sick in the cartoon version. I've also listened to the book, the podcast, and in the podcast I'm pretty sure he was dying. Or not the podcast, the audiobook, he was dying. But anyways, I really liked it. I literally remember this show from childhood, cannot find it anywhere. Like, I can't download it anywhere, I can't purchase it anywhere. Like, it is fucking gone. I thought I was hallucinating until I at least found it on like IMDb, and someone else had like made a little spliff about it being like, this TV show is actually quite nice. And I was like, yes, it did exist. I'm not crazy. I haven't got to watch that movie in years, but I just remember that it made a statement in my brain, and I cannot forget it. So that means it must be good, because I distinctly remember what like happens in it, and there's like a witch, a skeleton, and a mummy, I think, and they all have to like face their fears in these certain instances. I fucking loved it. I don't give a shit. I fucking 10 out of 10, bitch. I do recommend. Number 8 is Monster Squad. So this is also a older movie, but it is with real people, and it's with kids, and basically these like monsters start coming into their town, and yeah, they start fighting them off, and obviously no one believes them, but like they used makeup back then, which like I fucking appreciate, because I just feel like if you watch movies that did makeup rather than bad CGI, you can still watch the movies that used makeup. You cannot watch movies with bad CGI, like really bad CGI. Do you know what I mean? Number 9 is House on Haunted Hill. This one I didn't even know existed till I saw it on my sister's Apple account, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this. And so I did, and I really fucking liked it. So basically it's this like theme park designer invites a bunch of people to this haunted house, and it's for like his wife's birthday or something, and anyways they all start dying, and then it's like, what's happening? And then there's this huge like conspiracy, you need to figure out like who's doing it or what's happening. Anyways, fucking really good. I liked it. Again, there's some bad CGI at some points, but for mostly it's pretty darn good. So number 10 is The Labyrinth, actually. Now, this may not seem like a Halloween-y, scary kind of movie to most people, but it fucking terrified me as a child. Oh my god, the guy with the long hair and just being like stuck in a universe that's hard to leave, or you don't know how to leave, just bothers me. That's horrifying, just to be like stuck somewhere that you can't leave, or like you're looking for someone and you can't leave till you find them. There's all these like creepy things, like those weird like bird puppet Muppet things. I don't know. I didn't like it. So it also made the list because A, it's old, and B, it terrified me. So that was basically all you needed to do to make the list. But yeah, that's also one I haven't seen in quite a while. I do think there is some bad green screen in it, but I also think that with older movies, you have to take it for the time period it was made in and just appreciate it for that kind of movie. You know what I mean? When you watch an old movie, you have to be in the mood to watch an old movie. I do have 2 honorable mentions that aren't movies but are interesting, and I think you guys should check them out, especially for Halloween. One is Brom. It's actually a book, and it's called The Plucker. It's really good. It's like a picture book, but there's also fucking words in it. I don't know. It's not like a comic. Is it like a graphic novel? Is that what people call them? And it's really good. It's like a dark fantasy, and it's not really long. Like, you can get through it in a night. It's just, it was just like so horrifying. I remember being like 14 and just in my room, like with the flashlight, lights off, reading this thing. And it's about this kid who gets sick, and then his favorite toy actually comes alive. Like, I think all his toys are alive, actually, but his favorite one comes alive, and figures out why he's sick, and it turns out there's this like evil thing in the vent right by the kid's bed which is making him sick, and so he has to go and fight it, and it's like really interesting. I just thought it was like such a cool take on something, and it just creeped the fuck out of me because it's just like so different and like so creepy. But yeah, I really enjoyed that and think you guys should check it out. And then my last tidbit for you guys is the Monsters Among Us podcast. So what this is a bunch of people will phone in actual stories that they've had with like creepy creatures or weird events that they can't explain. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to remember his name. I can hear his fucking voice, I just can't think of his name. Anyways, the guy who runs it basically plays them because you can phone in and give your own experience. So it's actually, most of the time it's people calling in and like a bunch of different voices. And it's just really cool to listen to and listen to how people like interpret things or stuff like that. They talk about like werewolves, the Shadow Man, aliens, like everything like that. I'm on season 2 now, near the end of it, and the end of season 2 is a lot better than the first season. The first season you can tell like they're still like getting momentum, but later in the seasons like they start adding music in the background and it just gets a lot more creepier, so definitely check that out. I thoroughly enjoy it. 2 things I would like to point out is, one, on October 31st, the Stranger Things Series 2 is coming out. Fucking so pumped about that. So Stranger Things Season 2 is coming out on October 31st, which is a Tuesday this year, so I'm probably gonna be watching that. Thank you. Also, I've seen the new It movie, and I can confidently say, this is just my personal opinion, you can completely ignore it, but in my personal opinion, it's one of the best horrors I've seen in the past like 10 years. Honestly, I would say best movie I've seen in the past 10 years. Like, it just hit a bunch of the marks for me. It was funny, it was scary, it had pop-out parts, like it had an actual fucking plot, it had good actors, you know, like it was just like a lot of good in it, so I definitely recommend seeing that if you haven't already. Also, a recommendation that I give to you guys, my boyfriend just came home. Did I not say that he would come in halfway through this video? I did say that. Is if you want a scary movie, Lights Out is also super scary, especially if you're like terrified of girls with like long hair and like disproportionate bodies. Horrifying. But yeah, I think that's it. That's all, guys, and I hope you enjoy this list. Please let me know any Halloween movie ideas you have down below. I definitely will be creeping through those comments, and yeah. I think that's it. That's all, guys. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in my next video.
Try it.